Hey everybody, how are you doing? It is your girl Nell, and I am currently live in the tiny studio looking ridiculous. How are you doing today? I have my phone in my hand, so it might be kind of shaky at times, but how are you doing? I am in um, the suburbs of Tampa Bay, Florida, and let me tell you, it's cold here. It's cold. I am layered up, and I learned the layering effect from living in Michigan for about 40 something years of my life. And in Michigan, it can become really bitterly cold. And the way to keep from being frostbite is you have to layer up your clothing. And so here in Florida, the weather has been ghastly, completely ghastly cold. And so I have been layering up. So that's what I have on right now. I am layered up. Today is Monday, January 13th. Happy Monday to you. And I am in the tiny studio organizing. Today is also the first day of the spring semester. So I have two classes that I'm taking in my quest to become or to earn my doctorate as a PSYD in psychology and or psychotherapy. And so I am currently in the process of organizing the tiny studio so that it can become efficient, not just for me working and filming in the tiny studio, but also for studying here in the tiny studio. And I also I like to organize. I like to, plan out my schedule so I have a planner and all of those things. And I like to do it in the tiny studio because I feel like I'm more contemplative in the tiny studio as opposed to going into our home office and, working at the desk. I like the informality of being inside of the tiny studio. So right now, as you see, I don't play. I do not come on Beyonce's internet lying to you people. I do not do that. So as you see, my locks are covered. Yes, they are. I found this a really great dreadlock. I want to call it a sleeve cap, whatever it is, but it's made from stretchy material. I want to say it's made from like lycra, but anyhow, I found it on Amazon and it is really great. Look at that. You see that? You see how stretchy it is? I really love this. I can put all of my locks inside of it and I wear it all the time now. Instead of just wearing my lock tam, I wear this scarf, this dreadlock cap, and I like it because it's lightweight and it's easy to wear in bed. So I really, really love it. This is something great. I found it on Amazon. When I locate the link, I will post the link on the community page. But you have to subscribe to the channel in order to receive any of my community postings or updates. So anyhow, I'm in here in the tiny studio. I'm sitting back trying to organize things. Right now, I have my little makeshift bookshelf over here on the windowsill, and you know, like I said, you have to resist the urge to hoard. And that's why I go through an organizing process here in a tiny studio every so often. And I do so in my kitchen and in the great room of my home because we accumulate a lot of things. We bring in a lot of things and then, that causes an accumulation of things. And then you find yourself with a whole bunch of stuff, you know, and you're constantly at a point where am I going to put all this stuff? I'm bringing in more than I'm taking out. So today in the tiny studio, I've been going over things and going through things that maybe perhaps 6 months ago I felt that I still needed these things, but in evaluation 6 months later, I realized I no longer need them. And there are quite a few things here in the tiny studio that I've realized that, I don't need them. I really don't need them. Like, for instance, let me show you. Hold on. Such as these. What are they? To your eye, they would appear to be Post-its, right? You know those little sticky pieces of paper that we like to jot down things and then we're able to stick them somewhere. Well, maybe 2 semesters ago, 3 semesters ago, I bought these Post-its. They're not really Post-its though, but I bought these Post-it fakes from Amazon, right? They were cheaper than the Post-it brand. And I said, well, look, I can get like, I think it was like 12 in a pack. I can get 12 in a pack for, $7.99 or whatever the price was. It was cheaper than the regular Post-its. And I did so. But these things do not work. They do not work at all. Okay. And I not only bought 1 pack, I bought 2 packs of them because, I thought, well, hey, I like to take notes, jot notes down in my textbook. I like to take notes, during lectures. And I was like, this would be perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And as you see, I did happen to jot some things down. However, listen, these things do not stick. So, 6 months ago, I was, I said to myself, well, maybe I'll keep them and they'll be good for something. And so I gave some to my daughter, the tiny studio assistant. She put it in on her desk in her bedroom. And then, I kept a few for myself and I put them away. Ask me, have I used them since ask me, this is 6 months later, have I used them? No, I have not used them. They're pretty. I love the color. There's my color purple. I love the colors, but they are just, I can't use them because they're not effective. They suck. They really suck. So what am I going to do? I am going to throw them in the trash, finally, where I should have thrown them last year, but I didn't. So, we have to resist the urge to hoard. Have you ever watched this show on, I believe it's TLC or the Discovery Channel called Hoarding or Hoarders? I used to be a faithful, 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 faithful watcher of Hoarders. And I would just be like, oh my God, this is terrible. You don't need that. You don't need you don't need 2011 you don't need 2011 plastic bags, or you don't need 2011 newspapers all over your house, or why are you hoarding that stuff like that? Why are you going to the thrift store and buying more stuff to put in your house, and then when you get to your home you have a whole living room full of stuff you got from the thrift store hasn't even been taken out of the bag, and I would just sit there and judge, right? Because that's what we do, right? That's what we do. We're really good at judging, right? And one day I was like, well, my kitchen cabinets are bursting with junk, with pans and oddities that I bought once and never used again. Why are they there? Or I will have books that I read once and did not plan, as in my professional life, I'm a book reviewer. So I have books that I've read, and for some reason I know I'm not going to read them anymore, but why are they here? Why are they taking up space and basically taking up energy? And so I told myself, well, Nell, you are a hoarder. Or at least you have the tendencies of being a hoarder. But hoarding kind of runs in my family because my grandfather was a hoarder. And I do believe that if my grandmother wasn't around, my grandfather would have been a full blown hoarder. When my grandfather passed and we had to go through, his closets and drawers and different areas that was sacred to him, that man was a straight up hoarder. A straight up hoarder for real. And so I know that I have the propensity to be a hoarder. So that's why organizing and cleaning is very important to me. So I go through things every 6 months or so to ensure that I don't hoard. Okay? That's what I do. So being in the tiny studio, it's been on my schedule or my planner to reorganize the tiny studio, to look at things, reassess things, touch things, and then ask myself realistically, if you haven't looked at it and touched it in 6 months, will you do so for another 6 months? Will you pick that item up? And the answer for these fake posts is no. They're beautiful, they're colorful, they're all the things, but I'm not going to use them because they're ineffective. They don't stick. And then on top of that, I purchased some more. I purchased some real Post-its. So I have like 2 packs of real Post-its. So I've been using the real Post-its. So there's no need for me to keep the fake Post-its anymore, right? Right. So that's what I'm doing right now in the tiny studio. I'm reorganizing things and, removing things that are not effective and will not be conducive to what's going on in here. And I would advise everyone to do that. Um, it's winter. Everyone's indoors. So this will be the perfect time to go through your things and to organize them. Hey, honey, you home early? That's the hubby. He's home early. So, anyhow, like I said, you have to go through your things and make sure that you are not hoarding. And like I said, the winter time is the perfect time to go through it because we're all indoors. And so that means that we have the time to go through certain items and to throw them away. Really throw them away. Now, I had 2 baskets on one of my shelves here in the tiny studio, and I put a lot of stuff in them because I said, oh, I need it. I need it. I need it. I need it. I really need that. I really need this. Now, look what has happened 6 months later. Here are the 2 baskets. I have completely emptied them and its contents into the trash because after doing an assessment 6 months later, I realized that I did not need those things. And when I touched them and looked at them, I realized that since I hadn't used them and I had put them in a place for usage and I still did not do anything with them, well, the next goal is to either recycle them or put them in the trash. So I have like several bottles, tincture bottles, like this lavender bottle, which is empty. These were inside of one of those baskets. Like here's another one. So what I'll be doing with those is today, when I get off the line with you, I will be taking those tincture bottles and soaking them, taking the labels off, and then disinfecting them, sanitizing them really well, and putting them aside so that when I get ready to tincture, I'm getting ready to make I already make medicinal tinctures for my husband, but I'm getting ready to make some more tinctures for the winter. Maybe some tinctures featuring eucalyptus, maybe some echinacea, and some rosemary. I'm going to be making tincture oils, and I will be using those bottles and recycling them to use for my apothecary. So That's another thing. If you have containers that you're holding on to, especially if they are glass, just clean them, disinfect them, or sanitize them. Put them aside so that you can use them or give them new life. Because we don't want to throw away our glass containers. And especially in plastic as well. If there's some plastic items that you have, containers that you're not using, just clean them really well, sanitize them, put them aside, and you can use them for other things. But I would not use them for home remedy or herbs or things like that. I wouldn't do that because sometimes the plastic, well, not sometimes, plastics ooze chemicals that are harmful to us, to our bodies. And so you don't want to put herbs like thyme, rosemary, any type of herb. You do not want to put them in plastic containers because what happens is that the plastic or the chemicals that make up the plastic will seep into your herbs. So you don't want that to happen. But as I was saying, you have to go through a process to help yourself resist the urge to hoard. And like I said, for me personally, I know that hoarding is maybe a generational thing because my grandfather was a hoarder. And if it wasn't for my grandmother, oh my God, that house that they lived in over in Detroit on Roseline, that house would have been hoarded to the hilt. But because my grandmother was the guardrail, my grandfather only hoarded in certain areas that she couldn't see. But, like I said, I don't want to be a hoarder. I don't want that. And you shouldn't want that either. And just in your general organization and cleaning, you should always, if you see something and you haven't used it, you haven't touched it in 6 months or so, you need to find another place for it. And that place usually is the circular file. And what's the circular file, y'all? The trash. The trash. Or you can find another use for it. Put them, like I tell my children, like my children see me do. If you have clothing or something that you can't wear anymore or you can't see and you don't have a use for it any longer, put them into bags and take them to the Goodwill. Or take them to your local thrift store and let someone else use it. Or what's another thing? I was just thinking about it. You could have a garage sale and sell your items at a garage sale. But that is, something that hoarders also do. We procrastinate and we say things like that. Well, I'm going to use that. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to put it on eBay. I'm going to take it to the garage, have a garage sale, and then we don't do it. And then the next thing you know, things stack up, stack up, stack up, stack up. So give yourself a time limit as well. If you plan to sell something or put an item that you no longer use anymore in your household and you decide you want to put it on eBay for 6 months. And if it does not sell, put it in a bag, take it to the Goodwill. If you have old bags that you're not using and they're collecting dust and you just feel like there's no use for them anymore, you can put them on eBay. You can put them send them to the Real. You can put them on Poshmark. You can put it on Facebook Marketplace. And if the stuff doesn't sell in 6 months, take it to the Goodwill. Give it to somebody who will love it and who will give it new life. But get it out of your space, period. Resist the urge to hoard. That is what this video is all about. Resisting the urge to hoard. Honey, you have any ideas about how to resist the urge to hoard?
You covered everything. And I know in our neighborhood we have these donate boxes, so you don't even have to. You can just take a bag of clothes and throw it in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a giant mailbox.
I don't know if you guys can hear my honey, but he said that in our neighborhood we have these giant boxes where you can donate your clothes or anything and just put them in a bag and then put it into the receptacle that says donate clothes. So we have that in our community in several sites. As a matter of fact, my son told me the other day that he had a bag of clothes that he was getting ready to take up there to that to the donate clothes site.
Yeah,
So,
all over the place.
Right, you can do that as well. You don't have to keep things in your space and that does not is that you do not use or that is not effective for you in your life. And as I mentioned before, if you're still unsure about some certain things, put them aside, keep them for 6 months, come back to it. If that same item is still sitting there underutilized or not utilized at all, then it's time for you to rethink the situation. It's time for you to make plans to either take them to the Goodwill or sell them, repurpose them, or to and what's the other thing? Recycle. That's how you resist the urge to hoard. And here's the thing, as I said before, sometimes we get into the attitude or we have this thing where we're like, oh, I'm going to repurpose that eventually one day, or I'm going to sell this, I'm going to sell that, I'm going to put this in a garage sale. And then what do? That stuff sit, and then 6 months, a year, 2, 5, 10 years pass, and that same item is just sitting there collecting dust and taking up space that we could be using for something else. So resist the urge to hoard. Make your life simple. Keep your home organized. Keep it clean as much as you possibly can. But the most important thing is, if you're bringing things into your home, please follow the rule of bring one thing in, get rid of two things. So that means if I bought myself a new jumpsuit like I'm looking at right now, I'm thinking about buying a new jumpsuit. So I have a new jumpsuit that I'm thinking about ordering, right? Well, I have a closet full of clothes, two closets full of clothes. So what should I be thinking about? Some of these things in my closet I don't really wear anymore and I don't need them. So what I need to do is I need to get rid of two or three different things, put it in a donate bag, take it to the Goodwill, and then order that nice outfit that I want. And that is my plan. I've done it several times before, and if I can do it, you can do it, right? Okay, Tiny Studio guests, I am your girl Nail. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. And I will talk to you guys next time. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. All right then, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. Bye-bye.